Why do I have a bunch of parts, cut up parts, and a pair of vice grips in front of me? Well, guess what? We're going to talk about this today. But first of all, let's talk about some vice grips that have been available on the used market and unfortunately aren't around anymore, but they're great tools. Now, one of the neglected segments of the multi-tool market has become the vice grip section, with a lot of companies simply leaving the field. So one of the first ones I think about is Leatherman with the Leatherman Crunch. This is a hammer mod someone kindly sent into the channel, but the Leatherman Crunch just able to be such a compact, very small package, very thin, very lightweight, very useful, and now it's gone. And about the cheapest I've seen these is about $250 on eBay, which is frankly a little bit outrageous since they were about $120 for a very long time. It's just where the market is. Now, there have been many through the years that have come and gone. Kershaw made the A100, this one right here. It's very nice. Actually, one of my favorite probably. Ones besides the Leatherman Crunch. It's very well done. So Sheffield got in on the action with this, the Crocodile. Some people have mentioned about how rare this is. I have been seeing a couple more for sale lately. So if you are a collector, this is one you might want to pick up. Even though it's not one of the best ones, definitely the Kershaw is a better tool. So that brings us to the Irwin, and I'm going to show a picture of the Irwin on the screen, the couple versions that are still available. Now with the Irwin vice grips, you can see that there is more of a needle nose and what I call a blunt nose, and I had the blunt nose version. I do have the needle nose on the way, but I just was not satisfied with how it was working out. So as you've seen on the screen, this knife opens up and then it comes up like this, and then it seems like the pliers sort of in the way. I mean, the vice grip jaws, and you've got this little tiny knife, and it just seems like it's done the wrong way. I've actually seen where someone actually turned it around, so it actually opened up at the bottom, which makes a lot more sense. Then you had this goofy little bit driver that sat in here, and it opened up, and I guess it worked okay. At least it was full 1/4 inch and not like a Leatherman proprietary bit, but it didn't even lock into place. I mean, here we've got this gigantic vice grip. These aren't light. You know, they're not the most lightweight multi-tool. And then you mount these tools that are just done so bad. Now, I have seen that it looks like Irwin may be discontinuing these, which if there were any other vice grip on the multi-tool market, I would say good riddance, but unfortunately there isn't. So this may be the last of the dying breed, I guess. Anyway, I decided to take mine and change it up. So this is what we have. We've got this vice grip. This is a 5WR, and I have married this with the SwissTech 11-in-1. And now we have a knife that opens the proper way right here, and it locks into place. Now I haven't tightened up all the bolts exactly like I would normally, so there may be a little bit of wobble here, but this saw blade locks into place. And then on the inside, we have a locking bit driver. Now, on such a large tool, I just feel like a locking bit driver is very important, and it's very neat to have that. So thankfully, on this SwissTech, I was able to take the bit driver that's at the top, and I was actually able to switch it around to where the lock is at the bottom. So I took out all the scissors and all the rest of it, and it works just fine at the bottom, locks into place, works great. I thought someone said you couldn't do that, but with the 11-in-1 SwissTech, I was able to. Now, I don't know if the other components work at the top because I didn't need them. Now, I think I would be able to go ahead and put a pocket clip on this, but realistically, why would you need this in a pocket? probably a belt pouch is a lot better option if you were to carry it. Now, it does make it a bit bulky, but I feel like you have a lot more versatility with this. Now, the other thing is I definitely need to weld this into place, because with these, the weird thing is you have no latch that unlocks these. So for instance, on this one right here, you have this latch. Well, on these, there's no latch. You just have to manually open these. So when I crank this down into place, if it's under enough stress, this right here, because I only have one pivot, it just sort of comes away. So eventually I would like to weld this into place, and then I think it would make for a very good tool to have in my vehicle. It's not the most loveliest, but it does work and it's a lot more functional. And then I could, I could mount a file, which probably would make a lot more sense than this saw blade that disappears on me sometimes. One of the things I do really love about it, though, is the double-sided bit in here, and I think that's one of the best features about that you finally have a locking screwdriver. I really like that. I think this would be really cool to have a version of this in the needle nose. I don't know if I want to go through all that trouble again. What I did is I actually ground this off right here, just underneath this rivet. You can see inside that you need to keep this mechanism. It's held in by this rivet, and then it's goes against this rivet actually. So I cut it just below that so I could leave that mechanism in place, and then I actually sliced the metal on here, and I took out this middle piece, crimped it. I used this hole that was already here. There was already a hole there for the original knife blade. So this knife blade originally sat like this, and that top pivot hole I was able to use for the Swiss Tech and run that through there. Even though it's not beautiful, I was able to crimp that metal together with a lot of force and then get that pivot to run through there. So it works for now. It's not the best option, but it definitely works so much better than the other. And I really wish they would work on making a tool, because a 5-inch vice grip is a fantastic thing to have married with a multi-tool. Again, if they could think of a way to make this a lot thinner and not as clumsy, that would be great. But it needs to be done well. It needs to have a locking knife. Locking probably file would be great, and a locking bit driver, and then $30, $40, $50 all day long. It would probably be worth it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.